Lock in on your dream. Lock in. Alright? That means turn off the BlackBerry for a minute. Turn off the Twitter. Get off the phone. Stop gossiping.
Welcome to Locked In, a family of visionary individuals dedicated to tapping into their genius levels by taking the following steps. Developing a strong habit of focus and hard work. Building a team of focused and dedicated individuals. Being patient and staying locked in to one task and taking it one day at a time. The best way to get to the top is by following the path of those who are already there. This is Locked In. Alright, so this is another episode of Locked In. I'm your boy, No Mashilwane, and I'm also known as King. And of course, we're back again. This is the Women's Month edition of Locked In. And of course, today in studio, I do have Lesego and Kedibone, who are here to represent the organization Zibokodo. They are actually, fighting against the second pandemic, so the president of South Africa says, which is gender-based violence. And of course, these are the ladies. And of course, a big welcome, guys.
Thank you. No.
All right. And of course, just to get started, I just want us to understand or have an understanding of what is Zibokodo. I don't know, Kedibone, can you please take us through that?
Dumelang Bakhayetu. Zibokodo is an initiative that aims to help communities curb gender-based violence. It is a platform whereby women get to engage and help one another through this struggle, whereby women get to tell their experiences about any form of abuse without fearing being judged, and we then tend to seek professional help for them.
All right, so it's a professional help that you seek for them. And of course, but one thing that makes me wonder, because I do understand, Lesego, that you are the sole founder, according to Cosmo Chronicles. So I just want to understand, like, for example, what inspired this initiative? Like, what really, inspired you to start this?
Well, now I get that question a lot, hey?
Yeah.
Because I didn't grow up in a home whereby abuse was practiced, but the environment I grew up at is the one that made me want to start this initiative. I mean, I'm a woman after all, and having to see how women are brutally killed every day and how they've turned into punching bags worries me a lot. Hence, I thought I should be the voice of women and start a platform whereby they can engage with each other and learn from each other's experiences.
All right, that's quite interesting, especially given the fact that you've seen how things are currently in our country. And of course, I was shocked that we also still do get cases, even now during Women's Day, during the weekend, because we did see a couple of investigations being made and cases being opened. But with that being said, I just want to also understand, like, for now, we've seen that there's a couple of things. People say there's nothing being done. Some say there's something being done. Mm-hmm. But I just want to understand, the current government that we have right now, what do you think? Do you think like they're doing enough to deal with gender-based violence?
Well, from my point of view, the government is feeding these animals. It's not doing anything. If they were actually doing something, women wouldn't have to worry if tomorrow they'll be next victims or feel uncomfortable around men. I mean, I can't say the government is doing anything when the stats keep rising every day.
True. All right, so you say they're feeding, and you use the word animals. And I just want to understand, like, by feeding, what do you mean?
They're not doing anything. There's no justice that's been served.
All right, so no justice being served. We see, okay, fine, I do understand, I get where you're coming from. And now, with that being said, Kidi, you did say that you guys help these ladies who are being abused. Mm-hmm. So I just want to understand, what kind of help do you offer to them?
We haven't really helped anyone as yet, but what we plan to do is to, of course, listen without judgment. Advise that person to understand how to deal with such situations, as well as therapy or counseling.
All right, so you say as of yet you haven't dealt with anyone, therapy, counseling, and but I just want to understand, like, for example, what kind of judgment do you speak of when you say, you want to listen to someone without judgment? I just okay, fine. I guess it's quite. Because one thing that I'm asking, like now, like you listen without judgment.
Yeah.
Like for example, is there any sense of judgment that you think maybe people do have while they're listening to some people that might be victims?
Of course, I mean, if I was to tell someone about maybe my dad doing something to me, they think,
You're seeking attention.
I'm seeking attention, or
Yeah. Also, so
they wouldn't really believe me, like.
Oh yeah, and that's actually one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I've actually based on some comments that you get from other victims. They tell you that they went to police station and when they got there, they were not listened to.
Yeah.
So okay, now that's proper. And of course, seeing that the current state of the country, as far as gender-based violence is concerned, the president has actually called it the second pandemic that South Africa is fighting currently. So, what I just want to understand is that. How do you think Zibokodo is going to help fight this pandemic, so-called gender-based violence?
Well, no, we're planning on tackling this pandemic by trying to make women stand together and help each other through the struggle. How we're planning to do this is by letting women feel free to speak out about their experiences and letting us into their journey, and also making it easy for all the others that are hiding in their shell to come out and seek professional help for them, like Kedibone said.
All right, so it's a common thing for some people to hide, especially if they've been abused. So it's quite an interesting. So on that very same note, how do I then let you guys know? Okay, fine. Now I'm being abused. Do I call you? Do I SMS you? How do I know? Okay, fine. Now I want to speak out. This is my story. I want it out there. So how do I do it? How do I approach you guys?
You can check our Facebook page at Zibokodo, Zibokodo, and get an understanding of what the page is about.
Yeah.
Then, if you have any questions or need clarity, you can either leave a message on Facebook or contact us privately. You can find our contact details on that same page. Then, from there, we'll let them know how everything goes.
Okay, so basically, is it because from my understanding, so if it's a Facebook page, if I come with my story and I tell you, okay, fine, this is what I'm going through as a female, do you guys then, and I'm like, okay, fine, I want my story to be told so that other women can learn from it and so they can know such things happen. Like, what then, how do I then, get my message out there through you guys? If my question makes sense, or should I?
Just rephrase the
Rephrase,
Okay,
yeah.
so a lady comes, she's having a struggle, like, okay, fine, I was abused, but I want my story to be told, since the platform is for females to tell their story. So I just want to know which steps do I take, like as a female who's been through abuse, in order for me. No, but okay, fine. All right, no problem then, no problem.
But you already said it was.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like, for example, I myself have a story. Like,
Yes.
do I inbox you my story?
You can
either post it on the page, which will be available for anyone to read.
But I don't want people to know it's me. Mos.
Then you can contact us privately, and
And then-
then we'll tell the story for you.
All right, okay, now there's a bit of clarity right there. And one thing that I also would like to find out is that the movement itself, Zibokodo, the organization, what, like, for you guys, how is the future looking like?
Well, the future movement is women standing together and fight the struggle with no fear of coming out and seeking help.
All right, so right now, actually, we believe that there's a lot of women who are going through stuff, but they don't choose to
come out.
Okay, I get that. So right now, actually, where we are. And of course, I think that has already been answered when I asked, which steps do I take. But then today, actually, or not today, Sunday, which is the 9th, marks Women's Day in South Africa. And of course, this is like the 64th commemoration that we celebrate as a country. So I just want to find out from you, like, for you personally, what does Women's Day mean to you? Like, when you celebrate Women's Day, like from the past up until now, what has always been your, like, how do you commemorate it? And Lino, as it's commemorated this year, what lessons have you learned from the past and you're still learning about Women's Day, or what it means to you in simple terms?
For me, the importance of Women's Day is a reminder for everyone to not only talk the talk, but also walk the walk in working towards equality in our country. It's a time for all of us to understand our own responsibility and actively inspire and empower the next generation. The diverse and successful communities that are celebrated on International Women's Day remind me that while we may have a long way to go before we have a fully equally society, we are stronger working together than we will ever be apart. Realizing in today's world, we have so much opportunities to be what we want to be and can be what we want to be if we have faith and determination in ourselves.
All right. So, quite an interesting point that you make there. And of course, I believe, I hope, the ladies that are listening will take note of that, so that next year, or next year, or in 10 years to come, when they celebrate Women's Day, they take note of that. And of course, Lesego, for you, what does it mean, celebrating Women's Day?
Well, the day focuses on women's achievement in every aspect, be it professional, political, and so on. But to me, it is important because this day was founded by women themselves. These women were focusing on gender-based violence, which is what I'm also against. The rights of women was what they were fighting for. They wanted their voices to be heard and to be respected.
All right, that is actually quite an interesting point, particularly when you look at the fact that when we speak of gender-based violence, when you said that enough for a second, before I remembered that, gender-based violence is not when a male punches a female, but it's the violations of their rights, which there is quite a number of those. And with that being said, I just want to know, like, for example, for every young lady listening right now, this is now just you giving like that, message of saying, Tswara Otsamailon. For every lady out there, what would you want them to take away from what you guys have done recently, given, the recent accomplishments, which is Zibokodo being seen on Cosmo Chronicles. And right now, I just want to know, like, for example, what encouragement would you like to give to all the young ladies out there?
I mean, if you want to start something, if you determine that you want to start something, start it. If you know that this is going to work for you, even if it's not going to work, if this is what you have in mind, that I want to start this, do it. It might help someone out there. It might be something big. You'll never know. So do it.
All right, and there is actually quite some powerful words out there. And what I'd like to say to you guys is that it's very important what's being said here, particularly when they say you must just start with something. And, you'll get the consistency, you'll get some of the patience along the way in growing that particular thing. And, of course, I'd like to say to every lady out there that happy Women's Month. I hope you do enjoy it. And, of course, I do remember that also, you not only celebrated in this month, but also in every other month of the year. You still celebrate it. And with that being said, guys, do make sure that you don't forget to check out ClickNet. So ClickNet is actually a website that has recently started. What happens on ClickNet is if you are a talented person and you want to showcase your talent, you just post it on ClickNet. The details will be provided to you on the link where you can actually sign up and also start posting. It's actually a cool website, particularly if you are someone who is having a talent and your visuals of your talent, you just upload them, and someone who's looking for that talent or who's searching for that talent will then visit the website and check you out. And with that being said, guys, it is indeed the end of the podcast. And do make sure that you don't forget to share the link, share the link, share the link, share the link, and share the link again. And of course, a happy Women's Month to everybody out there.